Ramble.
Welcome to Curious with Josh Peck. Start the show. What's up, babies? Welcome back to the Curious Podcast. I'm Josh Peck. You're the listener, and that's wonderful. That's what has to happen. Otherwise, this is a real one-way street. Either you're listening to nothing or I'm talking to nobody, and either or, that's fucking weird. What's up? Happy weekend, right? I hope you had a great weekend. I did. It was my birthday, so it's really nice to hear from all of you selfish listeners who I received no cards to my P.O. box that I don't have, and no correspondence, not even a check-in, not an email, not a fax, nothing. That's fine. I get it. No, I'm just kidding. My birthday was wonderful. I did get a lot of lovely tributes and shout-outs and that whole thing, which is always quite kind, always appreciated. And it was lovely, and I'm getting old, and I'm expiring. I'm 32. I never thought I'd make it to this age. Not like a cool, fatalistic, oh, I thought I'd live so hard and die young type thing. I just couldn't imagine being like a grown-up, like an adult, like fully adulting with a fucking kid on the way, which is wild and just mad crazy, as the children say, as the kiddos say. Yeah, I'm going to be a father. It's starting, we're not far. I'll just tell you that. I'm not going to tell you guys exactly when, because I feel like there might be a kook in there that'll show up at the hospital. But we're not far. Like literally, like less, like a number of weeks away from that baby being a citizen of this earth. And oh my God, what? Things are going to change? Yeah, probably. That's what they say. It's what every parent does when you tell them that you're pregnant. They're like, oh God. Yeah, good luck. Sleep now. Fuck you, sleep now. Yes, I realize children take your sleep. They're not sensitive to your sleep schedules, and they're jerks about it. They are total insensitive jerks about my sleep schedule. So I realize I love sleep. I don't know what I'm going to do about that, but listen, it's not about me anymore, right? Maybe that's a good thing. It's been about me for so long, and it's not left me the happiest. I'll be honest, I've been my primary objective for the last 32 years, and, I could be happier. Probably, definitely. Not complaining, not a cry for help. I'm reasonably happy, as I imagine most are. But I don't hit those high heights. I don't really hit those low lows either. But fuck, I'll get a scoop of melancholy every now and then. Ooh, a nice dose of the sad. Just a helping of the horrendous. You know what I mean? I know you do. Out there in your Toyota Prius, driving on your morning commute, to listen to me, to try to, just escape for a minute, because you're on your way to your 9 to 5, and it's not completely fulfilling, as we were all promised as kids that we would find the perfect profession that would not only fill us creatively, but also financially and spiritually and emotionally. And then we would meet that partner who fulfilled us completely. And the truth is that even if you have those things, it still might not be enough. How about that? How about that mic drop of fucking stoicism philosophy right there? You know what I mean? Like, look at me. I'm overpaid. I have met the woman of my dreams. Yeah, I'm saying it. She doesn't even listen to the podcast, so I'm not trying to butter her up. And here's the even best part. She's perfect for me because she doesn't necessarily listen. Because she's more concerned about me, the human, and not so much about me, the performer. Right? That is so healthy. And I get to do this, which I love. Interesting conversations. I make a living being reasonably creative and artistic, not having a boss or a 9 to 5. And that, my friends, is a blessing. And yet, I still sometimes get I'm in the dumps. Not right now, but it happens. And I only share that with you in an effort in which to hope that you identify in some respect and don't feel so alone in your human condition, and know that there are other people that feel that way, and they're leaving, they're leading quasi-successful lives or whatever my life looks like. And so that it's possible to get through the day. And sometimes you need that because we all feel so special. And we're all unique. Unique people, humans. You don't know what it's like to be me in here. If you had my head on your shoulders, well, I'd like to see how you'd get by. You know what I mean? You don't want to see in here because it's crazy. It's a fun house of horrors. You know what I mean? Heavy on the horrors. I don't know. I made it sound darker than it is. It's actually all okay. Whoa, I don't know how I got on this weird tangent. Dude, California is fucking burning down. How about that? It's no joke. And it's wild to see it happening. And like, it's right outside your window and you look outside and the sky is full of smoke and people are suffering, like people like this touched people that we know. You know, it's not isolated because it's so massive. And a lot of people are hitting the reset button on their lives, losing their material possessions. And I imagine, as evolved as we all hope that we are and not about the material world, that's a fucking tough reset to let go of all those memories. And some people and the people that have had that have had no choice, and it's been foisted on them. And I imagine that is incredibly hard, man. So, yeah, it's no joke. God bless them. God bless the fire department and everyone who's fighting this thing and working hard. And I hope it's over soon because it really, really sucks. And what else? That's it. I think that's it. Can that be it? Maybe. I have some really good guests coming up on the pod. I hope you guys like this thing. I don't know. I think the verdict's still out on whether or not this podcast will work, but inevitably I'm having a good time. I hope you are too. And we'll see. More will be revealed. What do we have? Damon John coming up. Shark Tank, heard of it. Jude Angelini, heard of it. Jeff Garland, comedian, heard of him. Rosie Perez, legendary actress, heard of her. Gary Vaynerchuk, Aubrey Marcus, Aquafina, Jeff Ross. We got people coming. This is happening. So I hope you guys keep listening and enjoy. And tweet me at It's Josh Peck. Let me know. Let me know what you like. Let me know what you don't. Let me know how to make this thing better. I'll listen, maybe, unless it, it challenges my ego, and then my ego will win every time. Today on the show, Phil Rosenthal. Heard of him? He created a little show called Everybody Loves Raymond, one of the biggest shows to ever happen on this earth. He's also the host, creator, writer of Somebody Feed Phil on Netflix. One of my favorite indulgences, because besides being just adorable as a human and as a host, he exposes me to all these incredible restaurants and places that I otherwise might never get to see. So I felt so lucky to have a conversation with Phil and that he was down to be on the podcast. His lovely daughter, Lily Rosenthal, was joined us as well, and she's super dope. Between us girls, me and my listeners, subsequently, from this podcast, Phil invited me over to his house for like a pizza night, movie night. You know what I'm saying? And it was awesome. It's sort of a tradition for him. He has people over. He makes wood fire pizza, and then we watch a movie. And, I'm just going to say, Phil's done well. And, we weren't watching a movie on a 32-inch screen. You know what I mean? We watched it. It was like a mini movie theater, but it was incredible. He's such a lovely dude. Check out his show. Enjoy the podcast. Okay, bye. Here's Phil.
Have lunch with our friends, and we thought we should record some of these lunches because some of the friends are awesome, like Norman Lear, Carl Reiner.
Yeah.
And he co-wrote a book with Brad Paisley, of all people. And so 2 days ago, we recorded like this over lunch, although these things get in the way of lunch.
A little bit.
So we need to lav up for those.
You do have a great lunch Rolodex.
I do.
Can I get some of the heavy hitters?
Yes. You can even come to lunch.
Get out of town.
Why not?
I make no sense there.
No, now that we're friends.
And we're joined here by your lovely daughter.
Yeah.
So
It's Lily.
Lily, feel free to jump in at any moment. But would you share a couple of your heavy hitter lunch friends? Like,
Of course.
Norman Lear, you said?
I'm very lucky because I'm doing this. I've been in show business, I realize, 30 years.
Wow.
So if you don't make some friends, something's wrong.
Yeah, you're the problem then.
Yes, right. Right. My wife will probably say that I am the problem. But, like the first year of Raymond, I got a phone call that Norman Lear was on the line, wanted to talk to me. So
Did your head explode?
Yes, my head explodes. I had talked about him to the press because when people asked me what I wanted my show to be like, even at CBS when we were first pitching it, I pointed to a picture of their most famous sitcom on the wall, All in the Family, and I said, I'd like it to be like that.
Right.
And I just talked about how Norman Lear, in addition to being topical, relevant, political, life-changing, I've always said that television could be measured BN and AN, before Norman and after Norman, because he was the most influential producer in history. All in the Family changed everything. Before All in the Family, sitcoms were silly, pretty much.
And like Jesus, Norman is a Jew.
Yes. So I get a call. Norman Lear's on line one. We're working in the writer's room. And, I start sweating. And I pick up the phone. And he says, Phil, I hear we're fans of each other. I'm like,
Sir?
I don't know about you, but I'm a big fan of yours. And he goes, well, we should eat. And a friend of mine wants to come along if it's okay. Okay. And I show up at a restaurant called Pinot on Ventura Boulevard. And there's Norman sitting with Carl Reiner.
Come on.
Yeah. And I drop dead. Yes. And they are my friends to this day. And they're both 96.
And what is
Yes.
meeting your heroes like? Because we've all been in that place, or some of us have been lucky enough to where they completely exceed your expectations, and sometimes they break your heart.
I'm going to say 99% of the time it's been fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you found that?
I met Steven
Like today,
Seagal.
for example.
Like
How's
today,
it going?
This is, please, be on. Are you kidding me? I didn't even know this street existed in LA. It's so fancy. No, absolutely. Well, and not as a rule, but I find the more successful people are, the more secure in who they are and what they've done.
Yeah.
And they tend to be the most gracious and generous, whereas the people that are sort of teetering in the middle seem a little more
Right.
unsure of themselves.
Right. But who defines what the middle is? The top, there is no there. Even someone like Tom Hanks must feel like, what, they treat me like this? You know what I mean?
I wonder.
It's always, show business will do this to you. Build you up and knock you down.
Yeah.
There's always going to be. I've spoken to some of the greatest writers in history. Like, I'll bet you, do you know who Larry Gelbart was?
I know the name.
Larry Gelbart wrote Tootsie. He wrote MASH on TV.
Doesn't get
right?
better.
He's one of the greatest writers of all time. And he would always he would tell me, he would get these meetings where he said, I felt like a monument that they wanted to walk around and look at. But when it came time for me to pitch something, they weren't really that interested. And that makes you feel bad, no matter who you are. If they don't want what you're selling, right, there's always going to be somebody who either doesn't value what you do or just doesn't want it.
Well, I was fascinated by a Instagram story questionnaire you did yesterday.
I did for the first time.
I'm very proud. It was well done.
I almost had to take a class.
Yeah,
on how to do it. Yeah.
Did you help, Lily?
I did not help, but I saw it from. I was away. I was with friends, and I saw I'm gonna do a live Q&A tomorrow, and I was like, oh no, oh no, what is he doing? And I then saw it the next day, and it's just him going around rooms of the house. Sorry if that blows your cover, but you were like in various rooms of the house, like squinting at the phone.
Well,
like,
I did it
was
at different times.
Oh, you did.
I couldn't
and then
do it
you
all
just,
at once. But I tried to
right.
answer as many questions as I could. I got thousands of questions.
Right, you're very
So I answered about
popular.
25, 30 questions, which is a lot, I realize,
Yes.
to answer.
Yes.
You've
I'm
done
very
it.
proud of you.
You've done it.
I've done it, and it does remind me a little bit of when my mom, when I talk to her, and she says, I'm working on your website, as in my
Oh.
website.
Your mom helped you.
And I say, what do you mean? She goes, my Facebook page.
Oh, God.
So her Facebook page
is your website.
is my website.
Nice, good.
And
that's how it should be. Your mom should run your social life.
yes, and it breaks my heart slightly. But I was fascinated to what you were saying before by a question that was posed about the next season of Somebody Feed Phil.
Yeah.
And you answered, when we get the green light from Netflix, if they
Yes.
want to do another season, we'll do it.
Of course.
And someone like you, who I look at as like this, mecca of accomplishment. And I go, God, he's waiting for the call too? Like he has to wait for that
I'm telling
next
you.
season pickup?
Tom Cruise has to wait for that call.
Right.
Everybody. You don't, I mean, he probably waits less time than me,
Yes.
but everybody has that thing that they really want to do that somebody doesn't want them to do or doesn't care about.
So to that end, when you finish something like Raymond, which was just a clear win, right? I mean, institution of television. How long before the day you finish
Yeah.
and that moment where you go, I got to do something else? Like, how long can you enjoy
be
the
honest.
afterglow of it?
I wanted, obviously you want a break, but I found that just the hiatus between seasons of Raymond was enough for me.
Right.
A couple of months of nothing is more than enough. And even then, I enjoy this. I'll give you an example. I had a pitch meeting with a guy over lunch, an executive. I was going to pitch a show. This was a couple of years after Raymond. And I'm pitching this show to him, and he stops me. He goes, can I ask you something? I said, yeah. He says, why are you still doing this? And I said, doing what? He said, like pitching shows. You don't have to do this. I'm like, what do you mean? That's what I do. I like doing this. What do you think? Because I had a little success over here, I should lay in bed the rest of my life? No, I got in the business because I love doing this, right? Now, this guy, he said, quite honestly, if I was you, I'd sit on a mountaintop and forget about this business. Okay, that's him. I feel like I need a reason to get up in the morning. And I love making shows. I don't like show business. The business part of show business is the part that stops you from doing the show part of show business.
And does the business feel better, worse, or the same today than it did when you were really in the midst of doing Raymond every day?
When I was doing Raymond every day, the business was fantastic.
Well, it's behind
because
you. You had a winner.
I also had a steady job, which is very unusual in show business.
Sure.
So if you're lucky enough to get on a show that works, and it's up to you basically to say when it's over, that's a very good position to be in. I realized how lucky I was every single second of that experience.
And I'm obsessed with people, creative people, and I'll even venture to say people like us, who I always know that there's this fictitious idea of a finish line in my head, that if only I win this award or have this much acclaim.
And what do you do on the other side of it?
Finally, I'll be all better. But do you even get
It's like
come
the
on,
universe.
Phil, do you get a month? Do you get
Yes.
6 weeks of like, I'm the shit, I'm the bomb?
No.
No?
No.
A couple days?
No. The moment after you win that award, you go, oh, look, now what?
Oh, no.
There's no there.
Right.
So it's what I try to tell the kids. The world is full of variables. There's always going to be that rotten kind of person who ruins the picnic, no matter where you are. There's always going to be that guy. There's always going to be something that annoys you wherever you go. And if you fixate on that, your life isn't very good because you're only fixated on that. But if you are confident and steady, if you are the rock, if you know who you are, and you find your own happiness, then that stuff can roll off your back easier. It doesn't mean you're always happy all the time and silly and stupid. It just means that life is good and you're grateful for what you have.
Yes. Did you? Now you're a self-proclaimed atheist because I heard you on Koppelman's podcast, and I totally get that. And yet, what you're saying seems very spiritual to a certain extent, or maybe just pragmatic. Or so, how did you develop your tools in which to get through life?
It's a great question. Do you have a few hours? Because this is
Buckle
not.
up.
It's not
I'm
a.
in.
I can't help but be shaped by my background, and I did grow up Jewish in a Jewish family. I still consider myself Jewish because ethnically, traditionally, historically, I am Jewish. Now, we can talk about whether I believe in
Higher power.
a higher power, a spiritual being. That's not really important. What is important is I believe in people, and I believe in the goodness, the inherent goodness of people. And this thing I just told you about, you have to be the rock, you have to be solid. That means learning to be content with yourself. Let's assume that when we die, there is nothing else. I'm going to assume that.
And don't the Jews kind of assume that?
I don't know
I think
for
that's an
sure.
Old Testament thing of kind of like, it's here now, eye
Yes.
for an eye, and when it's over, good luck. But I think that was a creation more of the New Testament, but what do I know?
I'd
I'm a
like to
Jew
meet
too.
the guy who knows for sure what's on the other side. Then
Sure.
maybe I would live differently. But until it's proven to me, scientifically, yes, I believe in science, I'm going to live as if this is it. And what I tell people about, if I do the travel show, you're never going to be as young as you are right now. And for all we know, this is a one-way street. And every day that you're older is a chance that maybe something on you doesn't work very well anymore. Could be a bum leg, your brain could go, anything could happen. Could be hit by a car tomorrow. So go now, meaning live your life now. Don't put off your plans. Do them now. Don't assume that life is forever.
And do you feel, that seems to me like live in the present,
Yes.
do for others, get out of
Yes.
self.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And
You'll be happier.
that's a spiritual truth, right? Like I find
guess.
anyone that I find that I look up to who seems centered in any way
Yeah.
or has a life that I find attractive in some way, whether it came from organized religion
Right.
or 12-step or just living without a
Yes.
higher power, they've sort of accrued that mentality.
Whatever works. If you want to believe in God, believe in God. If it works for you, if it makes you a better human being, I'm all for it. Go ahead. I don't care. Just don't kill me because I don't believe the same thing.
I like that.
Yes?
I'm behind it.
Believe whatever you want. Just be nice. How about that? You know what
Yes.
religion I believe in? The golden rule, which is at the center of every single religion and atheist belief and everything. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. If we all just followed that rule alone, we'd all be one happy family.
And who do you talk to on a Wednesday night when you're in the rewrite and the run through didn't go well?
I talk to the other writers who are in the same shit that I am.
Right.
Yes.
Band together.
Because God isn't really helping me then.
Yeah, right? Where's he in those moments?
Yes. Come up with a punchline, God.
Yeah, give me a button, God,
then
really.
maybe-
Show yourself.
That's right. You get something good to eat in the writer's room,
Ugh.
and sometimes that's God.
You know,
Sometimes that's the inspiration.
as I can tell, and you watch that episode with you and the gelato where you felt compelled to kiss the gelato
Anybody would have.
chef. That was a godly moment.
Yes, there's God in that moment,
Yeah.
right? When you have the world's best gelato, one of the best things you've ever tasted in your life, and here's this lady who made it just for you, and she put all her love into it, right? And she's so that I just wanted to kiss her on the cheek, and then she kissed me on the other cheek, and I kind of got emotional.
Yeah.
I'm not proud of it, but I'm not ashamed of it. It was real. People talk about that moment. You cried over ice cream. It was more than the ice cream. Right?
Now, that brings me to this point, and Lily, feel free to weigh in on this, because I'm fascinated by people like you that I look at you as someone, and listen, I was 300 pounds at one point, right? And yet
It's amazing. I saw pictures. I can't believe your transformation. And you have a lot to teach people. You really do.
Thanks.
About willpower, about discipline, about how to do it, about how to make your life better. I'm sure you've talked about this.
Sort of. In a weird way, because I did it. I had my awkward teenage years on television. So
Right.
some people can set the yearbooks on fire and say, I'm never going to talk about it again.
Yeah.
My awkward teenage years are in reruns. So lucky
Yes.
me.
So did you find it being awkward? Did you find being on TV made that harder or easier to deal with?
Harder. 100%.
You're literally under a microscope.
Well, I just knew, I don't know where it was born out of. I mean, for me, like I love, Howard Stern always talks about, of course I went into radio because his father was a radio engineer.
Yeah.
He's like, so to me, that was currency in my household. To be relevant on the radio was to be heard.
Because your parents were in the business?
My mom should have been, but she had a beautiful singing voice.
Yeah.
She has.
Yeah.
And she's a total character, loves a great joke. She gave a toast at my wedding that brought the house down.
Wow.
I'm talking 10 minutes of
Great stand.
Can I give you her
Yeah,
opening
please,
line?
please.
She's a little, we're bigger people in my family. She's a single mom. I'm an only child.
Yes.
She opens with, I want to welcome you all. I'm Josh's mother and father, which explains why I've been eating for 2 my whole life.
Oh, good line.
It's a nice opening.
Yeah, very good. So everybody laughs and claps, and
People loved
she's
it.
off to the races.
And so she loved The Honeymooners, as I know you loved.
My
and
favorite.
I mean, musicals. And
Yes.
so I knew that was worthwhile.
Yes.
So I think for me to do that was my first love. I knew that this was valuable, more so than, let's say, football or,
Yeah.
the sciences.
For me as well.
Yeah, right?
Yes.
But what I wanted to ask before was, I think you're more into food than I am, and yet you are so friggin' trim and lean, I'll say.
Well, do you feel like you have to really watch yourself, or it could happen at any moment?
Not anymore.
Because you got into a rhythm, you got into a way of life, you work out.
It's over 10 years. I feel like,
buff.
I try to work out, and
Every day?
Every day, 6
too.
times a week.
Me too.
So that's what keeps you.
Either weights or cardio.
And that's how you don't put on.
No, because here's the sad news for you, young man. As you get older, the only thing that really makes a difference in your weight,
It's what you
not
eat.
your health, but your weight, is your diet.
Ugh.
That's sad, right? So I have to pick my spots. When people say, I see you eating all that stuff. Yeah, you see me eating all that stuff, but we film for 10 days in each location, and it's condensed into an hour.
Right.
So you see probably the big meal that I had that day. Not only that, I'm not finishing everything. First
Right.
of all, I can't. Second of all, I have a crew of 16 guys looking at me with their tongues hanging out. So if I don't give it to them, they'll eat me.
Yeah, you have to be
Yes,
magnanimous
I
about
have
it.
to. Well, it's only fun if you can share it. So I like to share.
So what does the meal before and after the shoot look like?
Light.
Small.
Light. Sometimes we film 2 meals a day, but there's enough time in between for me to get hungry. Listen, I want to be enthusiastic when I eat because that's the show. That's half the show is me being happy to eat.
And
I understand that's a way in for a lot of people.
Well,
I
yeah.
have a secret agenda, which isn't so secret. I want you to travel. I'm trying to get you to travel. I know for me, food is the way in, and for you, food is the way in. Food's very popular.
Yeah, I mean,
Everybody eats, everybody likes on food programming. I understand it. So I thought what I had to offer the genre was my own stupid sense of humor and this agenda of using the food and hopefully the humor to get you to travel. It can't just be me eating. That would be boring. As
Sure.
excited as I am.
I mean, we could just live stream that.
Yes, I could. Yes.
Set up a webcam.
Yes.
We could talk after.
Yes. A trough cam.
I have a buddy, Jeremy Bronson, who's a
I know him.
great TV writer,
Yes.
incredibly funny, and he says, it's so funny in the writers' room
Yeah.
that you can pay us less, you can give us a pay cut, you can make our hours longer, but if you fuck with our lunch order, there's an uprising.
You know what the name of my production company was at Raymond?
What?
Where's Lunch?
I love it.
Because that's the writer's main preoccupation. If you're locked in that room, and it's going to be hours, like 12 hours sometimes, 16 hours sometimes, in the writer's room, the only sunshine coming in the room is the menu.
And where were the places? Give me like the top 3 places that you'd order out for when you were in the
well,
middle
this is
of
going to
it.
be, I mean, we're talking about now, Raymond hasn't been on since 2005, so
So I
it's
feel
gonna
like
be-
we're
it's
not
gonna be
talking
different.
we're not talking a Cheesecake Factory here.
No, it would be, once a week we'd go to Nozawa, which was the premier sushi bar maybe in Los Angeles.
That's nice.
Now it's Sugarfish, that's right.
It's about the same.
It's the same guy, he did it for his sons now, this kind of
Yeah, and he was
affordable
the
sushi,
sushi
but
Nazi, right?
he was. But if you got to know him as I did, and I'm talking about, I went, even before Raymond, I was going to this sushi bar once a week minimum for 20 years. And we became friends. And he was not a Nazi to me because I was genuinely interested in what sushi was all about. And he taught me everything that you'd want to know about sushi. It was like having your own Jiro dreams of sushi right in front of you every day.
The dream.
The dream.
And
And I got to know him and his family, and they've been here, and we've been out to dinner, and he's a lovely, lovely guy. However, if you screwed with his place, which was tiny, it's about the size of this room, right? Very few seats. And if you asked somebody to move seats so you could sit with someone else, he would say, get out. If you ask for spicy tuna roll or California roll, when it says no spicy tuna roll, no California roll on the wall, and he said to you, I'm sorry, we don't have that, and he'd point to the sign, and if you said, yeah, but can you make it for me anyway? He would say, get out.
I can respect that.
Yeah,
That I can respect.
because those are American inventions. And he was a traditionalist, and he cared very, very much about the art form.
Right. And that I can respect. I'll tell you what I can't respect.
Yeah.
You ready?
I am.
I was at Jelena the other day.
Okay.
Excellent. Love the
Great
food.
food. Yeah.
Very. How would Lily? I feel like you could describe Jelena to the.
I've actually never been. I've only been to Justa, the other one.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
I hate
sister
myself.
restaurants,
I've never
yeah.
been. Is it really good though?
It's really good. It's on Abbot Kinney, which is an incredibly trendy street in the trendiest of neighborhoods, Venice, and
Do you live over there?
close, not far. So I'm there. I'm going to a party, so they've rented out a room. So I know that they're putting down some scratch for this event. Okay.
Yep.
And I walk upstairs, and there are two waiters who are like standing next to a wall that I greet warmly because
Want to be nice.
I take it upon myself to like, because it could be me.
Yes.
Like, it could be me there. So I give them a nice, how are you? Nice to
Yes.
see you.
Right.
They gave me, not even a hi, just a,
Yes.
like,
Yes.
And my wife, who I'm with, says to me, "Oh, that's their thing. Like the waiters are jerks." And
do you mean?
I was like, "Fuck that." Yeah,
Like that at Justa. It's kind of like that at Justa too. It's very high pace. If you don't know what you want, get out of the way. It's a little. That's how it is. I mean,
Are
the
you
food's
saying
very
that this
good,
is
but
I
do see what he's
a
saying.
plan?
yes.
They plan
Really?
that like that's our shtick?
I mean, I've now had it with these two guys. My wife has had it going there with two different waiters and waitresses, and it's not somewhere where you go, "Can I see the manager?"
Really?
It's a little bit of a.
All right, look.
I'm not throwing shade over here.
No,
I don't want to start
yeah, go ahead.
Talking about like Malibu Kitchen, like Bill. Everyone has a problem with Bill, but if you know,
Go
maybe
ahead.
So everyone, have you been to Malibu Kitchen?
I have.
Okay, so Malibu Kitchen, it's kind of like this New York style deli in the center of Malibu. So you walk in, and how do you describe it? It's like you're
It's like a Vermont country store with New York style deli, and then you get your sandwich, you go outside, and you're in Malibu.
It's like a Nancy Meyer.
It's a fantastic.
Exactly.
It's
That's
fantastic.
exactly what it is. So there's a guy who runs it. It's his place. His name is Bill. He is known throughout Malibu as this grouchy, rude, horrible man. But we know him. I used to work at Malibu Kitchen. He's the nicest, like just sweetest, most adorable man. And yet people just don't like him because he could be I guess short. I don't know. But my dad says you need shirts that say Malibu Kitchen and then on the back maybe it's you, because you know it. Oftentimes you're like you expect him to be rude because you've heard that he's rude, and then he's just really the nicest guy, but you don't give him a chance, so you take everything as no, he's just terrible and rude, and I don't know. But
We don't know other people's lives, right? So if he's very, very busy and stressed out, and there's a long line at the counter for sandwiches to order, and the lady up front is on her phone,
Sure.
and he's trying to get her attention, and then she finally puts her phone down and then starts asking a bunch of questions about the sandwiches. You have a certain responsibility when you go into a place to at least play by the rules. If you're online, how about taking the menu and giving a look before you get up front, especially if there's a long line behind you? It's just common courtesy. Imagine what he puts up with in Malibu.
Oh,
right?
yes, soccer moms.
I'm saying give Bill a break.
All right, I get that. Good
Right?
name for a show.
Yeah.
Give Bill a break.
Yeah. But he's become a great family friend. I love him. We put him in the LA episode just because I love
it.
the sandwiches so much.
Oh,
right?
I love it.
Yeah. I recommend it to everybody. And, I think if you're nice to him, he's going to be nice to you. That's how it is. The situation you're talking about, this other restaurant, I can't explain. I can't understand. Like in New York, at Peter Luger's, let's say, they have a shtick. They're going to be gruff. They're going to be New York-ish, whatever that means to you. They're going to be not rude, but they're not going to be, "Hi, sweetie, how's your day?" Right?
But
what do you want?
They serve something called schlag there. I mean, I can imagine that. Like, you go in there and there's sawdust on the floor, and they're like, it's German, right?
But the
Luger's?
gruffness is the shtick.
I get that.
And then
it's
when you joke with
there.
them, they expect you to have a sense of humor.
Right. Am I missing that at Jelena?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
There has to be a sense of humor behind it. You can't just be mean to people.
Yes.
That's not a good, service.
Business practice.
No.
Sure.
Mean. Oh, let's go there. I hear they're mean.
Yeah.
There's a place in Chicago called the Wiener Circle.
Tell me more.
A great hot dog place run by an African-American staff, some big ladies behind the thing. You go there, they will cuss you out. It is hilarious. Who's on the Office? The sweet kid. The
Krasinski?
No, not
Rainn
the
Wilson?
Office. Sorry, no, not the Office. No, old man Rosenthal. Just forgot
Parks
his
and
name.
Rec.
No, it's 30 Rock. The page, the NBC page.
Oh, yeah.
The guy.
From Saving Sarah Marshall or Forgetting Sarah Marshall?
Oh, I know. I'll look it up. Hold on. Go ahead.
Anyway, he's adorable. There's a great YouTube video of him going to the Wiener Circle and getting cussed out. And then he brings Triumph, the insult comic dog, back with him to straighten them out.
Great.
Jack McBriar.
Yes, Jack McBriar, who's fantastic and hilarious and the sweetest guy in the world. So these ladies just cuss him out.
Yeah.
It's hysterical. You have to know what you're in for. You're going to go there and you're going to get cussed at, and that's the entertainment.
All right. You're
And,
making a
when you bring your friends there, you're going to laugh.
Right.
It's going to be fun, right? And you can give it back to them, and they're going to hit you twice as hard. It's like it's like a rap battle.
Right.
So much fun. It's like a roast.
Have you been in some rap battles, Phil?
You can tell I'm P-Row.
I like that. Okay. Yeah. Down at Hebrew school, getting in some 8 Mile action.
Yeah.
You ever imagined if you ever opened up your own restaurant, what it would be like?
I did.
You did?
Well, I invest in restaurants. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
The main reason I invest in restaurants is that I'm not very bright.
Tell me
This
more.
is a money-losing venture for the most part, but I do it because I love them so much, and to me, it is an art form, and I support the arts. Both Monica and I have a foundation even that supports the arts in education, the arts in school, and to me, the culinary arts are as valid as any other. Why should our sense of taste be rated any less than our sense of sight or sound, right? We support the Philharmonic and the Art Museum and arts in schools, visual arts, creative arts, support the chefs. So this, to me, makes our town better when we have a great restaurant to go meet and eat in. It's our social life. It's more than anything else, what I'd like to do tonight is go to a restaurant with my friends and family and eat and drink and have a great time. That, to me, is an evening. I don't need Yes, I want to see theater. Yes, I want to see a movie. Yes, I want to go to a museum. But it all culminates for me when you're sitting in a place that's convivial, not too loud, so we can talk, and have art presented to you. That's what it's like for me. Art that you can literally take in.
What, you don't think we have ads over here? What do you think what do you think, we're floundering? That this podcast is in the red? It's not. We're doing well, quite well. We're doing okay. It's not the best, but we have one ad, and that's from Quip. Guys, what's Quip? It's the most important thing you're going to do for your health every day. Brush your teeth. It's one of the most important things, but not everyone is doing it properly. Quip is a better electric toothbrush created by dentists and designers. It's got a built-in 2-minute timer, pulses every 30 seconds to remind you when to switch sides, sensitive sonic vibrations. It's got a multi-use cover, and the brush heads are automatically delivered on a dentist recommended schedule every 3 months for only $5. Yes, I just got my new pack. What did I get? A little toothbrush, a little brush head. It even came with a battery that goes in. So, those sonic vibrations, those don't come out of nowhere. They're powered by a battery, which I didn't have to go out and buy because it was delivered by Quip, because they friggin' think of everything. Anyway, that's why I love Quip. That's why they're backed by over 20,000 dental professionals. Quip starts at just $25. And if you go to getquip.com/curious right now, you get your first refill pack for free with a Quip electric toothbrush. That's your first refill pack free at getquip.com/curious. Ad over. And you have talked about the whole volume of music at restaurants.
Yes, it's my pet peeve.
But you said that it's purposeful and not just for ambiance.
No, they want to get you out.
God.
I think we should all rebel against this.
Just
I really
sit.
do. I think if
sitting.
everyone who really thought a place was too loud asked the servers, could you please turn it down? I think they would. I say it. You know what I say? And I mean it. I have trouble hearing. Can you turn it down a little?
And do you get a good response?
And here's the other thing. Now, I'm perfectly willing, being as old as I am, to go early. I know you kids, you wanted a little action-packed. You want a little excitement when you're going out, and you're going out after 8, 9 o'clock.
Not me.
I'm going 6:30.
Right.
That's when I like to eat dinner.
I want to have dinner while the sun's out.
Yeah.
Right?
I want to digest. I don't want to go to bed on a full stomach, right? So I eat early, and there's less people there. And so the music doesn't have to be cranked. So if I'm one of the few people in the restaurant, turn it down for old man Rosenthal.
Yeah.
Please.
Just
I'm here to talk to my family and my friends. That's why I came here, not just to eat, but to have an evening.
Are you happy with a turkey sandwich?
Yes.
Like that you just make from
As a matter of fact,
in the kitchen?
As a matter of fact, it's funny that you said turkey sandwich. First of all, it's the sandwich that's named after me at Malibu Kitchen.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the one we featured in the show.
You've made it.
I've made it. Then, I've actually said this. When people complain about airline food, which they have valid reason to complain, people, what if the airlines concentrated on a good turkey sandwich, and that's it? And you knew when you were going on the plane, oh, they have the good turkey sandwich. I'm going. I'm excited. I'm not gonna have a turkey sandwich this week because I'm going on American Airlines. They make a good one, right? And that was it. And they had a vegetarian option. That's it. Turkey sandwich. If you're going on that airline and you're going from L.A. to New York, you're getting the turkey sandwich.
Yeah. Why does it have to be so bad?
Why does it? The more they try to make it fancy-ish, the worse it is.
Yes.
Right?
I even like JetBlue now, and I don't know if you fly JetBlue.
I have, and they keep it simple.
They have a snack closet. Go as you'd like. In the middle of the plane.
Yeah.
You feel free to help yourself.
Yeah.
You want a Schweppes and Sun Chips?
Yes.
Enjoy yourself.
Yes.
And bring it back to your seat.
And that's in every class.
That's for coach. But that's, and then the Mint, the first class has a whole meal. But this is just like.
But I've been in Mint, and they keep it simple there as well.
Yes.
Sandwiches, I think, and stuff. Keep it simple.
Yeah, they know. I wanted to ask
unless you're subsidized by government, like a foreign airline, like I've been lucky enough to fly Emirates or Singapore Airlines.
Ooh, yeah.
Some of the meals are spectacular. Like, holy cow, I don't want to get off the plane. I was on an Emirates airline. I took a shower.
What was that like?
Unbelievable.
How was the water pressure? That's
The
all.
water pressure was better than my damn house upstairs. Yes.
And this is a nice house.
Here's the coolest thing. You take the shower. Everybody gets 5 minutes. Okay? This is yes, I am lucky enough I get to fly first class once in a while. This is for the first class passengers. I think there's 20 people. They go around when you sit down. The stewardess comes over and says, "Would you like a shower?" I said, "Now?" They said, "Later. They can make a time." So I give a time. They pencil me in. So from 9 a.m. to 9:15 a.m., including 5 minutes of shower time, that's my time in that bathroom. The bathroom is bigger than this room that we're sitting in right now. I'm not kidding. It's giant, and there's 2 of them at the front, and there's a person, an attendant, whose only job it is on each side. There's 2 of these people. When somebody uses the bathroom for any reason, they have the next person wait a minute. They go in and make it as if no one was ever in this room. Okay?
God.
After a shower, after whatever use, it is spotless. Now, you go in, you take a shower. Yes, amazing water pressure. You feel like you can't even imagine. I can't believe I'm flying in an airplane taking a shower. Here's the coolest part. You step out of the shower, the floor is heated. The floor is heated. They thought of that. Yes, that's the part where I went,
Have you ever sat in the back of a Southwest Airlines?
yes, I have. Yes, that's why this is why I'm excited, because this had never happened to me before.
That's
this
unreal.
I'm not saying, oh, this is how I go all the time. I'm saying this is amazing.
But to that point, and you qualify with the first class thing, which I do at times, and for the most part, I fly first class now when I have to fly a long period.
I tell people, most people who are lucky enough to fly, right? They save up for that ticket. Use your miles, because the basic ticket is okay. That's manageable for most people. Use your miles to upgrade.
Definitely.
Don't use your miles for the thing that you can afford. Use your miles to upgrade to the thing that maybe you can't afford.
Right.
Because I'm telling you, it makes life better.
How was it hard for you to become comfortable in your success? Because I see you now even like making the joke about first class or what have you. But I would imagine and not to project, but you came from a humble background,
Yeah.
and as did I. And I find, and I've had small success, and it can feel sort of like this weird new jacket to wear. Was it similar for you?
I have this weird thing about, and there's something that's never going to leave me, this thing about paying too much or getting ripped off, that feeling.
Judaism.
That feeling when I didn't have anything, that every nickel mattered, that doesn't really go away. Like if I see something's on sale in the supermarket and it's basically the same item, I am going for the cheaper thing.
Yeah.
It's just a thing. And if I have a coupon for something that falls into my lap, it's not like I'm going clipping coupons, which I used to have to do. But if it's there, like at the Ralphs, if they say, "Do you have a card or your phone number?" I give my phone number, and I saved $5 on the checkout. I feel good.
Of course.
I'm still a person.
I feel like that's a scam, by the way, that whole value member, put your phone. I'm like, just give me the discount anyway. But
Well, the discount is what it should really cost.
yes,
By the way, they're still making money, I promise you.
I can believe that.
Don't feel bad for them.
Sure.
And the rest is, if you're stupid enough not to give your phone number or get the little card, you're paying too much.
Do you ever lose that, or when did you lose that? And there's that great Yiddish word, kenahara,
Yes.
which is like the other perpetually waiting for the other shoe to drop, which I think we all fall victim to. Have you lost that? Do you know that you're probably, if you don't work anymore, it's probably going to be all right?
It's not going to be all right because I want to work. I
Right.
don't want you. It's not that you need the money. It's not. It's what you were born. You feel like you were born to do this. That this is your purpose in life. I now have tasted the feeling that, oh, I can do this. Maybe I was meant to do this. So if I'm prevented from doing it, something's wrong.
Right.
Right? So that's the feeling. And I want to keep going. And you want to stay relevant. That's a human thing. You want to feel like you still have something to say.
Is it a human thing or
Yeah.
is it a us thing? Is it a holiday? Because I know a lot of people that are happy working and
Yeah.
doing something that fulfills them in whatever regard.
Yeah.
But this idea of relevancy,
Yeah.
I don't think crosses their mind.
I'm not sure about that. Especially in show business,
Right.
right? When you say us, you're not talking about Jewish. You're talking about show business? What are you talking
People
about?
in showbiz, yes.
I think in every business. I really do. Look at the old people who don't want to give up the car keys. They want to stay vital. The fact
true.
that they can't drive anymore means something's been taken away from them and they're not a human. My dad fought it. Who am I if I'm not driving?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the way I got him to relinquish his keys at 80 whatever was saying, Dad, I know you love comedians, right? So you know the great comedians, they get off the stage before they have a bad joke. They leave on a good joke. So let's leave before any accidents. You have a good set going. Let's leave now.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was what got him. That's what got him to give the keys.
And does he Uber now?
He takes the bus. Uber, it's so expensive. The taxi is so expensive. He'll take the bus. I mean, once in a
God
while, he'll
bless
take a
him.
taxi. But he wants us with him so that we can amortize the cost of the taxi.
Beautiful. I wanted to ask, to watching, first I'll have what Phil's having, and now somebody feed Phil. I look at you and I think of Larry David in the sense of having had this great success as being the person behind the scenes,
Yeah.
and then having this now second round
Right.
being the face.
Right. It's a good comparison.
Would you, and just to follow that up, do you think you would have been a little bummed or felt a little incomplete if you hadn't had this time to be the face?
No.
No?
I was super happy being the writer and creator and showrunner of Raymond. It was everything I ever wanted. Could I put myself in the show if I wanted to? Yeah, I think so. My joke is that I didn't appear in that show because I cared about it. So I did other people's shows. I didn't care as much about that. And it was fun. I started as a kid. I didn't know there was writing, directing, producing. I saw the Honeymooners. I just wanted to be them. I just wanted to be funny. And so in high school, I was in the high school plays, and in college, that's what I studied. And I had to learn about writing and directing and producing in college. You got a well-rounded education at Hofstra University. And, I always say they made me take courses I knew I'd never use, like English.
Sure.
And so I loved actually learning about all these other things. I had no idea that they would all come in handy when I was creating a show for someone else, right? All these things that I learned in college. The theater background helped me immeasurably. So I was never, ever, it was only after, when stuff wasn't working out after Raymond. You asked, getting back to your original question, how soon after Raymond did you feel like you had to do it in? We had a spin-off of Raymond ready. I thought we would go from Raymond into the spin-off of Robert's family with Monica, with Amy, and her family, which was Chris Elliott, Fred Willard, and Georgia Engel.
Come on.
They had done like 30 episodes of Raymond anyway, and we had a built-in audience. But they didn't want the show because everyone in that cast was over 40.
God.
And so they said, we'll do a pilot. And I said, well, the whole reason to do this is to keep the gang together, the writers. These were some of the best writers in TV that we had assembled and had a lot of experience, 9 years on Raymond. They were now getting offers like multi-million-dollar deals at other shows. And they have families to support, and they're not going to chance this by doing a pilot. You have to commit to 12 episodes. That's not a lot, 12, 13 episodes for proven talent all around. Nope. And I think it was because the cast was over 40. That's what I really think happened. And I saw that they gave a commitment to a show where the cast was under 30. And they gave 13 episodes to that.
And is that show on the air?
That show died after 6 episodes.
I have no doubt.
Well, most things don't work. Our show may not have worked, but I thought we deserved at least a half-season commitment, having done Raymond and having had the actors from Raymond.
It makes beyond perfect sense. And at this moment, is this the time where you take your juice from 9 successful seasons to call the president of whatever and be like, really? Like, you can't give me 13? Why do I have to be making this call?
The truth is you don't do that. You just say, because it doesn't need to be said. You're not going to change their mind. By the way, you don't want to go where you're not wanted.
Right.
If they don't want the show, nothing you say is going to make them suddenly want it. They might do it for the wrong reason, and then you're dead anyway. I've been there.
Really?
Of course. I've done the thing where I've written a pilot, and they want to give me a lot of notes, and I say, you know what? Here, you take my script, do what you want, just take my name off it. You want a different show than what I've pitched to you. You want a different show than what I thought I was doing. If you want it so different, take what I've done, use what you want, don't use just take my name off it. And then I learned that what they really wanted was my name. They just didn't want what I do. So then they say, no, come back, we'll do it your way. Oh, okay, well now you're dead. Because, yes, they're going to do it your way, but the show's not going to get on because they don't really want it. They want your name on their thing. That's what they want. At least I've had that experience. I can't say it's always like that. And it might be me. I realized, like, after Raymond, that the business had changed. That what Raymond was, this kind of, I don't know, for lack of a better word, clean show that you could watch with your kid or your grandma, that everything was now had to be edgy, and it had to compete with cable, and it had to, I'm not saying be vulgar, but it had to have
an edge,
a lot of kind of sexual jokes. And we had sex jokes on our show, but they went over the heads of the children, and they weren't overt, and it wasn't about that.
Which you could say is the higher order, the higher concept, the more challenging execution is to say it without saying it.
This to me is good writing.
That's
when you say it without saying it. Yeah. It's what we valued. Listen, we could have easily gone there. It's not like in the writer's room we didn't use this language. We just got it out of our system before it went on television.
Because writers' rooms are notoriously blue, right? I mean,
completely. We make South Park look like Mary Poppins. We make we get out every single horrible, disgusting, shocking thing. We say everything. If we weren't comedians, we would probably be in jail.
Sure.
If we weren't trying to be funny. The thing is, we say the most shocking thing because the joke is, look how wrong this is to say.
Right.
That's the joke. In our private world, in our private room, where none of us really believe any of it, we say the most shocking stuff. Right? That's what makes comedy writers and comedians laugh. Because they've heard it all. Now, once that's out of your system, what are we putting on television for the people? Now comes the work. But that kind of vulgarity and shock and everything, that just gets the juices flowing. It gets you in a funny frame of mind.
And when you have that dream team of a cast that you had,
yeah.
When do you immediately start writing to their strengths? Or
yes.
Does it take a season to start understanding what they do?
That's a great question. You start, if you have someone like Peter Boyle, you kind of know who he is, and you start writing to what you think you know he is. And then as you rehearse and as the show goes and what you see the audience laughing at, you start to realize, oh, they're great at this. Patty Heaton, who played Deborah, had many, many colors in the rainbow, right? Could do anything. Incredible actress. One of the things we found that she could do in episode 12 was cry funny. Wow.
Come on, that's a gift.
So, like Mary Tyler Moore had that. She cries, you laugh. That's good. So you said, let's remember to use that again, right? When Brad Garrett made a face that suggested he was jealous of Raymond because Mom was favoring Raymond over him, that was a gold mine. That was something you could go to whenever you needed it. You start to know what the actors can do that you never thought of in the writing.
Right.
And you start writing to that. That's everything.
It's
So shows evolve.
Sure. It's so interesting, too, just to what you were saying before about that good writing to you is in everything that you don't say. And
Yeah.
I from the actor's point of view, I got to interview Vincent D'onofrio on this.
Great.
Who's, a
Great actor.
master.
Yeah.
And he said something very much to the effect as it correlates to the actor's process, which
Yes.
was, we are the detectives. It is our job to find a want or a hook in every scene, to truly find what our character needs.
Yeah.
And if the writing is good, the writer has made it hard for us to find, because it's hidden in nuance and subtext.
Yeah.
And in a look or a moment or even a pause. And
Yeah.
because it's, that's good writing, is in all these small hints that instead of just throwing it in your face.
Well, some executives don't realize that. And I've been told, state your theme out loud at the beginning. Like say it over and over. Tell them what you're going to tell them it, and then tell them what you told them. I was actually given that note. I said, whoa. They said, that's good writing. I said, I always thought good writing was, you say it without saying it, that people infer inherently what you mean through your actions, and the the theme is self-evident, and at the end you might sum it up. Nope, we want it stated clearly what this is about, blah, 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 blah. So you're oh, excuse me.
No problem.
Somebody's calling.
Go for it if you need to.
No, it's okay. I don't need it. But somebody should pick up the phone in the house. It's not me.
Could be Norman Lear.
I don't think he's calling the house. Anyway, that's you. The best advice I ever got, I've said this before, was from Ed Weinberger, a great showrunner of the Mary Tyler Moore Show and Taxi and the Cosby Show of the 80s. He said, as I was writing the pilot of Raymond, and asked for advice, do the show you want to do, because in the end, they're going to cancel you anyway.
Yeah.
This is amazing advice. This is a life lesson. We all get canceled one day, right? So live your life is what that means. It doesn't do you any good to say to the network, I made all your changes. Why aren't you putting it on?
Right.
Probably those changes you made ruined the show, but they're not going to tell you that.
Yeah, they're
just
not
gonna
going to
say,
fall
"Oh,
on the sword.
This is not so good.
Well, that's that great Chris Rock joke of, what do police want most?
Yeah.
Crime. Because if there's
That's
no
funny.
crime, they ain't eating.
That's funny.
And so network execs need problems. And it's reminiscent to me of two greats who I've heard very simplistic advice by listening to them in docs or on podcasts. Mel Brooks says, if it doesn't make you laugh, it won't make anyone else laugh.
True.
And Larry Charles was quoting Larry David when he said, Larry said, just don't do anything that would make you cringe.
Well, that's right.
And it's so simple.
Well, we think
yet-
that we have to hit some fictional audience, the people out there. No, it has to make you laugh first. It has to make your buddies in the room laugh first. You have to be very specific. I learned that early on. The more specific you are to your experience and the thing that you relate to, then someone else may relate to it. Not everybody, but someone else will, because if you're a person, chances are there's another person who feels that way about something. It's the only chance you have. If you try to write vaguely and try to hit everybody, you're going to miss everybody.
Right.
The more specific you get, the more universal you become, because we all relate to each other's specifics.
And do you think that, I wanted to ask you, how do you face the blank page, and how do you get the
terrible.
determination to
terrible.
start?
It's crippling even.
It is.
You know, I wrote a book called You're Lucky You're Funny. It's about how to make one of these shows, how to make a Raymond. In fact, it's how to make Raymond. It's called You're Lucky You're Funny, How Life Becomes a Sitcom. I recommend the audio version of this. It's like having me in the car with you for 7 hours.
Oh, you read it?
Yeah.
Oh, please.
But it's good. There's some live things in there that obviously you can't get off the page. Plus, I think the book is out of print now. But this is still available, and I recommend it if you're interested in the business at all or the business of writing. But the way I wrote the book was, I paid someone to talk to. I paid someone, not that they were going to co-write the book. I just needed a face to talk to. All of us are writing every day. Everything you and I are writing right now. You're writing what you're going to say to me, and I'm writing you answers. There's just a very short amount of time between the thought and it coming out my mouth. Now, maybe I should take more time before things come out of my mouth. Maybe the world would be better if certain people did that. But that said, it's easier for me to talk than to write, to physically sit down and write and face that blank page. I'd rather face a human being and talk than have this recorded, transcribed, and sent to me as pages. Guess what? The page ain't blank anymore. Now I'm starting from something that exists already, and I'm already rewriting, right? Which is easier than writing. The other thing I tell writers is, who are starting, or even if you're not, and you're looking for that new kind of spark, start keeping a journal. Keep a journal. It's easier to write things down than to write. At the end of the week, you go through your journal and you go, that could be something. You didn't even realize it at the time. But that hindsight, looking back at it and saying, oh, when that cop stopped me for the broken taillight, right? And I offered him some of my protein bar, that could be something. Right. That could be the start of something. You didn't even realize it. And if you add a little bit of imagination to real life, that's what writing is.
Do you, when you're cracking a story or you've got the root of something, do you fully outline before you start writing dialogue?
It's a good idea to come up with a story. You want to make sure, like you're building a house, you build a frame first, you know? You have a blueprint. Then you build the frame. You build you want to make sure the bones are good. So that's in writing, that's the story. If the story doesn't work, you're nowhere. You can have all the witty dialogue you want, but if there's no story, people are going, oh, I'm not watching this.
Yeah, no matter how funny it is.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's only as good you don't even realize when you're watching it that if the structure is strong, the show is better. It's in everyone's subconscious, the reason why we like things. I use this episode of Seinfeld as an example, the contest, where they wanted to see, they took a bet on who could go the longest without masturbating.
Classic.
But it's not just because the subject matter was kind of risky and edgy. It's because it's one of the few episodes where all four characters didn't have separate stories, but were all involved in one central story, which made the show stronger. And that's why it's the classic episode, I think, of that show.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I totally, I find that everyone wants to get to the words and wants to start writing these characters, and it goes well for 3 pages, and then you're screwed.
You can't just sit and banter.
Right.
What's the point?
Where's it going?
We need a story to hang it on.
So I ask this to every showrunner, executive producer, and it's as a service to my fellow actor for this pod. Someone who's been in the casting position where you are seeing actors audition.
Yes.
What does an actor do when they walk in the room where you immediately go, fuck this guy? where you say, I don't want to work with this person? Is there something inherently?
What were you going to say, Liv? Do it.
Yes.
So one time I sat with my dad
Yes.
on a thing. What is it? An audition thing where you're casting something, and a guy walked in.
Yeah.
And he started reading his script from his phone.
Right.
And it kept getting messed up, and he wouldn't he clearly didn't memorize it, and I don't know if you remember this, but you got really frustrated, and you were just like, why does he keep going on his phone? It's annoying, because, like, you can't see it. Just use a printout thing. Yeah, I don't know. That, I remember you getting frustrated.
Well, people sabotage themselves.
Yeah.
I tell every actor, memorize your audition. Now, it seems like a big commitment for something you may not get.
Probably won't.
But if you treat the audition as a chance to perform that day, instead of an audition, first of all, you're going to feel better about it. It's a chance to perform. Right away, you're defining it as something that's going to be fun for you to do. It's presumably why you got in the business, is because you like doing that. Now, if you prepare, and if you're well prepared, no matter how it goes, no matter whether you get it or not, you feel better about yourself because you did your best.
Sure.
You didn't leave it to chance. Oh, if only I'd memorized it. Maybe, because I can tell you something, the guy after you maybe did memorize it and seemed like he was the part. The only shot you have is being prepared. So, it's kind of a psychological trick that we do to ourselves. Well, I'm not going to really commit to doing this so that if I don't get it, that's my excuse. No, you shouldn't take it personally anyway. They might want an 8-foot basketball player to play this role, and shrimpy little you came in and you were dead in the water.
The second you walked in.
The second you walked in, you weren't the type. I'll tell you this, though. When we were casting the brother for Raymond, I thought we were going to cast someone who Ray's real brother actually is. His real older brother, Raymond's real older brother, is shorter than Raymond. Is shorter than him. The older brother is shorter than him, which made him jealous of Ray automatically. So I thought we're looking for a shorter older brother, because it'll always be funny that the older brother is shorter and jealous of the taller younger brother, right? And then Brad Garrett walked in, who's 6'8".
He's a massive human.
Yes, the tallest Jew in captivity.
A Superman.
And we thought, oh, there's another way to go. Let's see if he's funny. And then he opened his mouth. Everybody loved Raymond. And we died laughing. And he had that hangdog face, right? And it was better than what we thought. And we changed our minds about the character, because the guy came in and had a choice and was prepared and knew who he was and did it. Okay? Now, I could have been the type of guy going, nope, got to be shorter. Could have been that guy. But you never know. You never know. It's better to prepare. Well, this goes for everything. Give it your all, people. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Right? In the script, take the time. Do the rewrite. Make it as good as you can. Just because you typed 40 pages doesn't mean you have a script. You have 40 pages. Is it good? Well, it's done. No. Yeah. Writing is so hard that we finish 40 pages of a sitcom script and send it out. I don't want it to be on my computer anymore. Let it be on this guy's computer.
Yeah, let him deal with it.
You only get a few chances before nobody wants to read you anymore, right?
Well, Vince Gilligan tells that great story about casting X-Files, and Bryan Cranston walks in the room to audition for a guest spot, and he goes immediately, this guy is not getting the role.
Right.
Because he said, for better or for worse, I created something in my head when I was writing it.
Yeah.
And this guy doesn't measure up.
Right.
But of course, he gave a great performance.
Yep.
And so he kept him in mind for a little something called Breaking Bad.
Yes, that's
and
right.
And that seems to have turned out.
That's right.
And then, in my last few questions, I'm really interested to hear, I'm recently married.
Yeah.
Between you and I and the listeners, I got a kiddo on the way.
Hey, mazel tov.
Thank
When?
you. January.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
Good for you. Do we know what we're having?
Human.
We
no,
think.
we're keeping it, we're staying surprised. Thanks. Lily's stoked.
I'm so excited. Oh my God, that's amazing. Thanks.
I know. They're going to let me be a father.
You'll be great.
Thanks.
You'll be great.
But,
Yeah.
you sort of show your family on the show and in your social media and whatnot, and you seem like a great family man, and that it's anchored you in a certain way. Lily, let's get the the contrarian.
He is a great family man in the way. I mean, there are the dads who who are like, all right, I'm gonna make dinner for everyone on the grill and then let's go camping. No, that's not what he does, but he plans the best trips ever. Like everything on the show, that is straight from his real life. That's how he does it. He plans everything around food. I've had the best food in the world. When I was 5, we like went to Paris and I tried literally everything, like foie gras and escargot and like all these fancy foods, and then like my palate just opened up. And he has one family rule, and it's you have to try everything. You have to try it at least once. And like I just got back from a trip and I went up in a tiny little plane because I was like, I gotta try it once. Like I gotta, became the rule of the family. You gotta just try everything once because you don't know if you like it or not, and then maybe you miss out on your favorite food ever because you were too nervous to try it. So he is a good family man. He takes a lot of time doing the show, making sure it's really great, but he also takes a lot of time and says, do you want to have lunch with me? like any normal dad would. So it's a good one. Yeah.
Father-daughter date.
Isn't that nice?
That's adorable. Come on.
Well, I'm very lucky because they turned out well, the kids.
Beauties.
Lily's going to the Dodger game. Have fun.
Nice. Who are they playing?
She doesn't know.
Lily, come.
I know.
It's all about the.
I think we can expect an
It's
awesome.
all about the food at the.
I love the tickets upstairs. Thank God you reminded me. Okay, I have to go.
Goodbye.
Here, I'll pause this one. That's something to be proud of.
So, you have this to look forward to.
Yeah, right?
Right?
If all goes well.
It will. It will. And we have a boy too, who's 24, and he's an actor, and he's paying his dues now as a production assistant, and he's working hard, and it's all. I told him he was saying, sometimes it's not so easy. Not everybody's sweet, not everybody's nice all the time. I said, this is all grist for the mill. Keep notes. Keep notes. You never know what's going to be usable. It's kind of what my book's about. You don't know what's going to be usable. We think our lives don't matter to anyone else, that there's nothing useful that's going to come out of my life. What am I? We all feel this way. You never know. And keep a sense of humor.
Do you think, I wonder though, and I totally agree,
Yeah.
I wonder if we all think we're so damn special that other people can relate. Because my experience is not like anyone else's. When in fact, it's insane how much we have in common and how common our experiences are.
Right. This doesn't mean take a selfie every 2 minutes.
Sure.
Okay? This doesn't mean that everything I say is gold. Just the opposite. You can have talent, by the way, and never make it because you didn't put the work in. It takes work. Nobody's handing you the television show. You have to work at it. You know how long it took me to get Somebody Feed Phil? 10 years.
That's unreal.
Yes. 10 years of trying different iterations of it. Different, like, hey, come out and film this thing with me, this scene. Let's see if somebody would like this kind of show. And I did it wrong, and I did it wrong again, and I did it wrong again until it was right. And now it's right. Now I feel like I've hit the right way to do it for me.
And a quick follow-up about what, your son deciding to be
Yes.
an actor. Was there the slightest little bit of you, having been in the business for
Yes.
so long, that just as a father and being protective went like, because it's hard. It's everything's hard.
When you're dad, you'll see you don't want your kid to suffer at all.
Yes.
You don't want any pain in their life at all. That has to go away quick because your kid's gonna stumble, physically gonna fall down, hurt his knee, right? It's just gonna happen. It's how they recover from these things. It's how they recover from, the mean person on the set. That's gonna shape them.
Right.
You can't protect your kids from everything as much as you try. And one of the great things you can give them is their own sense of self-esteem. Warren Buffett said every child born into a wealthy home is automatically on welfare. And I say that you you can't have any self-esteem unless you do things for yourself. So you have to let your kids have that. You can cripple them by doing everything for them. And I'm afraid that I see parents who, I think they're called helicopter moms, right? Or
Oh, please. Tiger mothers, helicopter.
it's too much. And so your kid grows up entitled, feeling entitled, and they're less better off than somebody who had to scrap a little.
But I wrestle with this, as I would imagine you did as well, which is that I came from, sometimes we had money, a lot of times we had nothing,
Right.
and everywhere in between.
Right.
And so much of who I am today was born out of challenge and struggle and
Yes.
overcoming.
Yes.
And I worked so hard so that my kid
Right.
doesn't necessarily have to have the
Yes.
challenge I had. And yet I wrestle with the idea of, like, how do I not make them entitled and, give them that drive?
It's a juggling act. I can tell you what we do is we're involved in foundations and giving back to the community, and we make sure that the kids see that and partake in that, and that's one of their values. So once you have that idea of giving back, of understanding that we're not just lucky, we're very, very, very lucky, that feeling of gratitude, that propels you forward in life and makes you just want to spread it around. That's it.
And coming home and having this strong family unit, did it allow you to forget the day's work and leave work at the door?
Actually, the family was part of the work. For our show, for Raymond, the joke was, go home, get in a fight with your family, come back in and tell me about it. Right? So we had dinner at home every night because that's a lot of, I would say 90% of the material was coming from that. So your family life, I think you can't write about real life unless you have one. And that's where the best stuff comes from. People said to us, it sounds like you were listening outside our house last night. Yes, we were living that fight that you had. We were having it.
Right.
So
You
that's
have
why
to live.
you related to it, because it comes from real stuff.
That was it. That was Phil Rosenthal, the man, the myth, the ledge. Thank you so much, Phil, for doing that. It meant the most to me. Enjoy, guys. Have an incredible week. Take care of yourself and others. And just remember that when the going gets rough, give up. All right. Love you guys. See you guys next week. Bye.